Hey everybody, we're wrapping up this section of text from Wheelock's Latin Reader by Richard Lafleur. We're on page 263, starting at line, I suppose, 175, this collatio allegate. So if we go back, I've kind of erased some of my notes, but what we were saying earlier was that below the sky, back again, that is out, the falling of pumice stones, however light and kind of eaten through, that is, porous they were, it was feared. The falling was feared, and rightfully so. I'd be kind of scared. Nevertheless, the comparison, the conference of dangers, chose this as the best option. Et apud illum, quidem ratio rationem, apud alios timorem timor vicet. So a lot of artistry going on in this sentence, which makes it very poetic, very pleasant, but also very hard to understand. So let's take it to begin. Et, to begin with. This is a connector, and we have it just meaning and. We could leave it out because we do have a full stop here. What we might think of this as being a somewhat of an intensifier, because et often is short for etiam, even. So let's just translate it as and, but know that it's not necessary, and therefore it does serve a purpose. Apud. So apud could mean a lot of things. It always takes the accusative, no matter what it means. It can be the apud me, that would mean, with me, at my side, at my place. Apud illum, so again, illum as often as Pliny the Elder. So, and as was the case with him, or with him, in terms of circumstance, that's what this means. Quidem, we've seen this, indeed, certainly. This claim for truth is a little bit suspect on Pliny the Elder, or Pliny the Younger, the author's part, but that's neither here nor there. And with him, indeed, ratio rationem. So at least if we don't know what's going on in the sentence, we know that that's a subject, it's a nominative, and that's a direct object. We have no case ambiguity here. Apud alios, so and with the others. And note that I said and, but there's nothing here. There's no connector. We just have a comma. Lafleur points this out. This is called a syndeton. So a syndeton, or just forgetting the A, we've got a binding in Greek. So an a syndeton is no binding. That means no conjugation. There's nothing that, or not conjugation, sorry, conjunction. There's nothing keeping these things together. It's just a pause. This is a way to kind of heighten the style. We see that in speeches in English too, where we don't need a connector. You just give a kind of pregnant pause, and we're working forward. Timorem, all right, so that's again like rationem, clear direct object. Timor, clear subject. Vicet, we finally get the verb. And then this verb is going to apply both to that subject and then the subject earlier. It would be nice to have an and there to connect these two things, but we don't have that. And note how here the subject, the nominative, preceded the accusative direct object. Here the direct object precedes the nominative subject. This is this thing that we've seen before, chiasmus, where we have this kind of changing of word order. If we were to put these over each other, if I had Timorum here and Timor down here, we'd actually see that X, right? And that X in Greek is a chi, and that's why it's the chiasmus. This is another poetic thing. It'd be nice to have parallel expression, ratio rationem, timor timorem, but this change is even more artistic. And you'll see it in effect when we read through the whole thing. What else does Lafleur point out here? Anaphora. That's his last term. And that's a repetition of the beginning of a phrase. If you go to the Wikipedia site, they cite Dickens. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of, blah, blah, blah. All that. It was the blank. That's anaphora. Here we have apud and apud. So we're setting this up. This is a very structurally complex sentence. But now that we can translate it, because we've done everything, we actually have a pretty good sense of what we're doing. So, and with him, reason conquered reason Indeed. That is, one plan seemed better than another plan. Among the others, one fear conquered the other fears. So it's a way of elevating Pliny the Elder here, that he's doing it based on reason. Hey, if we want to live, this will be the better plan. The others are saying, oh my god, I don't want to be buried alive. I guess I'll run screaming out under the falling pumice stones. That's the idea behind all of this. But again, all designed to set up the ratio that characterizes Pliny the Elder with the Timor that characterizes Rectina. We remember she was exterita, terrified out of her mind earlier, and we had Pomponianus, who was trepidans, fearful. All of this was compared by the securitas of Pliny the Elder, right? He's very secure in all this. He's not worried. He's taking naps, he's taking baths, while everyone else is freaking out. He's got the power of ratio, is what Pliny the Younger is trying to say here. Cervicalia, this relates to the cervix, the neck. These are pillows. Pillows having been put on, so this is in plus in. Let me erase that. I'm never going to make it more clear just by writing more. In plus pono, to put. So put on. And then the N before the P tends to become an M. So impono, imposition. Is I don't want to put this upon you. I don't want to be an imposition. That's what that means. So caracalia, having been put on, and then we can just take a nice ablative here as the direct object of imposita. Well, not really a direct object, but it's put on something. On what? On the heads. From caput with the U, and then capitis, neuter, that's head. So we've got this nice participial sandwich, and these are neuter plurals. We don't know their case yet. They could be either nominative or accusative, as all neuters can be. So we need to go further to see what's going on. Linteis, this is either with linens, and in this case we're not talking long linens, but linen bands with straps. Constringunt, and Lafleur helps us out here, to tie, to bind. So the pillows themselves can't do any tying or binding. If this was untur, then they would be the subject. But because it's an active verb, we know that these have to be accusatives, and then the subject of constringunt, our verb, is going to be Pliny the Elder and the rest, et al. You might see this in academic writing when you give the first author and then you cite et al. Well, that stands for et, well, it depends on the case, but and, alii, and the others. And that's the same alii we have right here. So Pliny et al., Pliny and the others, tied pillows, having been placed on their heads by means of linen straps. So you can imagine we've got heads here, we've got big pillows on top, and we've got linen bands, almost holding it on like a parachute for these people to avoid the falling pumice. It's a good ad hoc solution. Id munimentum, oops, sorry, there should not be that U there, adversus incendentia fuit. So this was a munimentum, ultimately related to the word munus, meaning wall, but so this is a fortification, like a city wall, a defense, a fortification, a defense. So this was a defense adversus. This is a preposition taking the accusative, incadentia. So this is from in and then kaido, ultimately to fall out or upon. So we get our English word incidents from this. And of course, when we think of what's an incident, an incident report, incidental, these are things that just happen by chance. This is all kind of coming from a dice game kind of analogy, that how things fall out is by chance. So it happens once. We also have this with another verb coming from kaido, occasion. Coming from casus, as we just had earlier, not too long ago. Here was our casus, this falling. So occasion is also how things might fall out. That's what is at stake here. So literally here, this, that is the tying of the pillows on the heads, was a defense against, happenstance, but literally things falling out. So here we get chance and a more literal meaning of falling coming together in one meaning. So that's how they're going to escape. So we can wrap up that whole section right here on page 263, and we'll continue on with line 179, the death of Pliny the Elder, in the next lesson. See you then.